Sabelotodo presenta Los Mayordomos del Tango.
I think in Asia, you know, because it's absolutely another culture, and normally in this side of the world, we suppose that is traditional our food, and even in Asia, we suppose that in Asia people eat Occidental food and Asian food, but that's not the truth. And when I was there, like one of the first time, like almost 26 years ago, 25 years ago, it was a big company. We were sitting in the table, and it was something with meat, with bread, like we call in Argentina milanesa, and we started to eat, but the meat was really, really weird. It was not cow for sure. It was like, and I asked to the, for the guy who make the translate in Chinese, because 26 years ago was another China. It was really difficult. Nobody speak English. It was another country. And he said, no, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. And the people start to eat, all of the company was like 22 dancers, a huge company. And I started to eat. And I said, no, please, let me know what it is. I have no any problem. Okay, it's torture. And I said, okay, all of the rest of the dancers, mostly the ladies, they have already into the mouth a piece of torture. And all of them, when they listened that it was tortuga, they started to, and someone again running to the toilet just to, and they came and I said, we can't eat anymore. So in the second day, it came in again with another milanesas with another kind of meat, another meat. So I started to eat, and all of the rest of the company, nobody ate. Everybody was like this. And I asked to the translate guy, okay, what is this? No, I don't want to tell you. I said, come on. Yesterday you told me tortuga, and I continue eating. So with me, no worries. It's with the rest of the company, I'm going to eat anyway. And he told me, this time, I don't want to tell you. So I don't know what I did. I really don't know. And he never told me what I ate. No, improvise 100%. Nowadays, for the last 10 years, it's 100% improvisation. Of course, many times I know the music, and sometimes in the same song in other countries I repeat some parts, but I don't repeat sequence. I repeat more or less the mood of what the music produced to me is sometimes it's always the same. So I'm dancing the same tango, for example, maybe more than 10 or 15 or 20 times in my life. And some parts are really similar. If you watch the performers in Seoul with the performer in Berlin, with the performer in New York, it's the same song, and more or less in this part of the song, because the music produce sensations, like if one children now come to talk with me, I am not talking like this anymore. Maybe I'm talking, oh. So if the music produce like the sensation to be talking with the children, my attitude, the way that I move, my movements, everything going to be with this quality again, always. And sometimes the music produces some kind of things that it's impossible to say, okay, now the interpretation is another one. But it's 100% improvisation, and I really like that. And I will let you know something more. I cannot record it any more choreographies. I did it when I was working in companies. I was working in Tanguera, I was working in Chantecler, I was working in the last edition of Tango Argentino in Argentina. I was working in Forever Tango, and the last, for me to memorize choreography now for 3 minutes, it's almost impossible. And last time when I was in Forever Tango, one friend of mine that was working with me in Tanguera, I had to dance with Marcela Duran, and they gave me the choreography. And he was one choreography for 3 minutes. We worked for more than 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, I was still thinking and trying to memorize it, okay, now is this, now. And the choreographer was a friend of mine. He took his head and he said, look, my nickname is Pt2, no? Look, Pt2, Gabriel Mise, it was another dancer, no? He learned this in less than 1 hour. We're here for 2 weeks. Come on! And I said, for me, okay, this is not for me now. Not anymore. I cannot memorize now any more choreographies in my mind. So now I'm just go and play. Yeah. What tango? Normally I like the tango in the shower and out of the shower. But someone die, when there are someone killing someone, the lyrics are dramatic, or they are losing, I don't like the tangos where they are talking about something romantic or even nostalgic. When people die, when the people or dying, they are explaining the way that they die. There are a lot of lyrics because sometimes people they don't know in the world, but the lyrics in tango we have a great poetry. It's unbelievable. They really touch. Some tangos, if you're really pay attention when you're dancing, sometimes there are lyrics that I didn't understand some part of the words. I'm dancing nowadays. I said, ah, that was. So then I go to the book or I read it in internet, the lyrics, because even if we are from Argentina, we don't understand exactly all of the words because they are singing and the quality of the recording is not so good. So we suppose there was one word, but it's another one. And the whole sentence, it's another message. So we suppose the message was something, okay, this is good, and then this is, no, it's absolutely the opposite. This is so dramatic. So I love the people who I can talk about the lyrics, about the composers of the lyrics. That is not so common, come on. It's really difficult sometimes in the tango professional dancer find people who could say, I love Discepolo, I love Caturo Castillo, I love Homero, Virgilio Esposito, the way that they create the music and the lyrics. I love Carlos, I love Gorindo, I love, of course, Homero Banzi. So normally the dancers, they dance and sometimes you are listening in the lyrics, 3 people are dying and they are jumping, I say, what is the relationship here? Or they're making ganchos or spiral boleos. I say, but the people is dying. What is your relation with the music and what happens in the music? So I love the people who I can talk about tango, history, lyrics, music, styles. And I have one friend of mine, the name is Esteban Moreno, that I could really share normally all of the topics in tango. Not 1 or 2 or 3. We could talk about everything. About all milongueros, different style of all milongueros, composers, people who made arrangements, orchestras, style of the orchestras, period of the orchestras, how they were changing, company recordings. So with him, with Esteban Moreno, I could talk a lot with the tango. With all of the rest, it's much difficult. There are many who knows some things that is really good, so you could talk about that topic. But in general, the whole idea about tango is not so easy.